This is Corolla Digital.
Hey guys, it's Skip.
And Allison Bedell.
We're really happy to be part of Corolla Digital and to bring you our first podcast. The first bunch of episodes were recorded earlier in the year as we thought we'd be launching them back then. So you may hear some things talked about that seem untimely with what's going on right now.
Also, in the first dozen episodes, we recorded some segments where we talk about other things that we thought fans would love to hear, but it made the podcast way too long.
So you may notice that on occasion, something seems like it's missing, and that's because we cut some of it out of the podcast.
But in the meanwhile, we'll be taking listener questions from Facebook and Twitter and add things as we figure out what works and what you want to hear.
Until then, sit back and enjoy Hammer and Nails.
Welcome to Hammer and Nails with Skip and Allison Bedell.
Hey.
How you doing today?
I'm doing good. How are you doing?
I am good. You ready to roll with this thing? What do we got going on? What's happening?
Well, today we're gonna start with our segments. We're gonna start our segmented podcast. We did the last one was our introductory.
Right.
And we got our format laid out, things that we're going to talk about that everybody can count on every week.
Yeah, so a bunch of good stuff coming your way. You know, an outline of what's happening with the show schedule and all that stuff. But starting out with, like, what's happening? Like, what is happening? What's going on with us lately?
Well, what's happening with us right now is that...
Getting ready, right? Getting ready to head out?
Well, we're getting ready because actually we just got the actual official pickup where the show says, okay, now everything put in the production into motion and we want you back.
Right. So, like, for those of you obviously don't, not everyone knows about TV production and evidently we're finding more and more about it all the time.
We're no experts either.
Right. It's there's a lot that goes into making TV shows, and it takes months and months of planning and preparation. You know, like Spike made a press release quite a while back, months ago, right? Like just about when we were done with season 2, that we're doing season 3.
So we're pretty excited about that, but it also means a lot of changes for us as well, because it is something that's very far removed from our home life as far as our regular work day and what we do every day. So it's a little bit chaotic in our preparation to be able to fly across the country and live our lives someplace else for months at a time, because we have a home, we have a house, we've got cats, we've got dogs, we have family.
We got like a farm. It's like
it's
a zoo full of animals.
Yeah, we got 4.
Let's touch on the basics. We're on the East Coast, and we got to kind of get ready to take off for a few months and change up the game plan with what we're doing. Obviously, you have your law enforcement job, and I have my construction business here. That all that kind of changes.
Yeah. I put in for the time away from my job. But which means that they have to turn over things and to cover when I'm gone. But with you, being that you're self-employed, that also means that things are going to kind of stop for you. And
well, it's a whole different story. You know, for me, like, listen, I'm a hands-on guy. I'm on the job, and the reason why my customers continue to come back to me is because I'm involved with the work.
Yeah, you're not one of those guys who's just subs out and you're gone and just checks in. You're one of the guys actually on the job because you're a perfectionist.
I'm not one of the guys we're chasing.
Right. Yeah,
Not yet, anyway.
Yeah.
Imagine I wound up on our own show.
That just won't happen,
No. I have to sting myself.
No, unless somebody's trying to get their 15 minutes of fame by making a ridiculous false complaint. I just don't ever see that happening. You are so customer conscious. I can't even imagine that ever happening.
Well,
but
you got to love what you do. So,
yeah. But unfortunately, because you have to plan ahead and not working.
Right.
It's because people, they'll be wanting to plan work, and so you have to selectively take jobs that you can get done before we leave, and then cut it off for us to be gone. So that's a lot. It's a lot for us because we also have 4 cats, 3 dogs, a house, and we need somebody to come by and take care of the cats twice a day. Right. I have to have somebody take the...
We have good neighbors.
We have great
good
neighbors.
Friends.
Yeah,
and
we've
family,
been really
right?
fortunate. For the first 2 seasons, we've been so fortunate.
Think about that, though. It's not like having your friend come over. Hey, can you let the dog out because we're going away for the weekend? We're gone for like 4 months,
or more months
at a clip.
Yeah.
So it's a couple times a day of feeding and doing all
and
that
giving
stuff.
pills. Like some of them are old and they need pills. And that's a task in and of itself because sometimes the cats are not cooperative. But it's also having somebody that's responsible. They're going to be in our house. I'm so not one of those people that's cool with having strangers in the house. You just...
So let's go on record and thank our friends and neighbors who are just awesome. It's been a team effort because really that's too much to put on any one person for that length of time. So people have kind of like, volunteered to do shifts. And for 1 week, and then they switch over to another person for the other week. And, we've been really fortunate that...
he just tiptoed back in the room. I would like to I'm sorry to cut you off. I want to give acknowledgement to Joe. We didn't say hello to...
You didn't acknowledge me.
We didn't acknowledge him at
Joseph
the opening.
Cumia in the room, ladies and gentlemen.
I demand acknowledgement.
The master on the levels, on the mic mix, and making us sound...
Yo, I'm the master, yo, on the levels.
Yeah.
What up, yo?
Oh, yo, thank you.
Making us sound far better than we actually do.
You said that the last time.
I know, I'll say it again.
That we
it's
actually
true.
do. That's
true.
presumptuous that we sound good to begin with.
No, we don't. That's why we need him. That's what I'm saying.
No, he did on the last podcast. So exactly what he said. And I listened to it later, and I was like, he said, making us sound better than we usually do.
Right. Yeah. Well, then we always do.
We always do.
We always do.
Well, basically, we always sound like shit, and he makes us sound good. So.
Or at least he mixes it up.
You're giving me entirely too much credit, kid.
In the house.
Credit where credit's due.
Look at the Godfather. I am the one that is hunted. You give me too much credit, kid.
We're fortunate. We're fortunate to be in a good place where we can get it done right.
Yeah, we've got good people in our circle. We've had our neighbors coming over to the house, and fortunately, they're trustworthy people. But now I'm going to be having my friend's daughter come by.
So far, trustworthy.
Don't say that.
No, I'm kidding. Well,
no,
actually,
we've been really lucky. There's been no problems this past season 2 has been awesome. Season 1 was a bit of a calamity that I choose to never go through again.
Let's not even...
Yeah, I'm not going to go into it, but we had a bad experience. Season
let's not go there.
No, I'm not going there because I'm just going to get all pissed.
All right, so for season 2, we were fortunate. Friends, family, everybody came in, chipped in, and we got it done. We took care of the homestead and all the critters, and we were able to go out west and do our thing and focus on doing what we do best.
Yeah. So we're getting ready to leave home, do that, and production, actually, they have a lot of things to do. In the meanwhile, we're going to skip on over to the next thing we're going to talk about, which is going to be what the fuck.
What the fuck?
What the fuck?
What the fuck?
We've had so
you ever
much
have
going
anything that happened like during the course of your day, Joe, that just makes you say, what the fuck?
We have had a lot of what the fuck going on. And right now, at the forefront of our minds of what the fuck is the snow.
Snow. Oh, my God.
We had the blizzard of the century, which really didn't turn out to be.
Century, but
that's what they were saying. It was
2015, anyway.
Snowmageddon 2015.
It was supposed to be like historical.
They scared the death out of you.
They were really prepared, though. I'll say that.
They scared the life out of you. Yeah. They scared the life out of you on the Weather Channel.
And they gave us curfews in New York State, where in our town we had to be in by 7 off the roads, and the state we had to be off the roads by 11. Right. So that was so that they could clear the roads, because the last big blizzard we had here, cars were stuck in the middle of main highways, main expressways.
For days.
Because they couldn't even move.
That was a success, and they definitely learned from their past experience. Because the last big snowstorm we had was this past winter or the year?
It was this past. I think it was this past winter.
We had just come home from filming.
It gets snow every year, though. It's hard for me to
so the last big one, Joe. You remember we got like 3 feet of snow, and all the cars were on the LIE, and right. So this time there's a curfew that for those of you who don't live in this area, you're not allowed to even be on the road past like 7 p.m. or 11 p.m.
So the main roads were taken care of really, really well, and they had a lot. They without delay this time. Finally, we had trucks that came by and plowed our streets.
Right.
So
because last time the snow was so deep the little local roads, like where we live, the little plows, the local guys with the pickup trucks and the plows on that are higher, like guns for hire, those guys couldn't even get down through it. They had to bring like the big highway plows.
We couldn't get out of our neighborhood. I just wanted to also make a mention of Jack, our neighbor across the street, who passed away right before we left for season 2. Right before he died, we were going to buy a commercial grade snow plow with him. We were going to snowblower, and we were going to split it with him. And he got this great deal from somebody. It was going to be this awesome blower. He did all the research, and it was going to be like $600 each. And we were going to share it. Now, meanwhile, Jack, since we moved into our house, has been plowing or blowing our snow since we moved in. Like, we would wake up in the morning and come on. That's dirty. What are you laughing at? Because I said blow. What is the right expression?
I'm like a kid, right?
Yeah. I laughed inside. I did. But I'm just the producer.
I saw you snickering over there. You had a little
chuckle. You're a husband. You can outwardly chuckle.
I don't know what the right word is. But anyway,
Jack came over and blown us 100 times.
So every...
See? That's what it sounded like to me the first time you said it. See?
So we'd wake up and our driveway would be done, and you'd see like the trail from his driveway across to the street, with the trail, and then he cleared our driveway and our walkway, and it was awesome. He was the best neighbor ever.
We were gonna get a snowblower. Shoulda, coulda, didn't.
Well, let me just say what happened. So he ended up saying, "You know what? I'm not gonna split it with you. I'm gonna pay for the whole thing because I'm going to plow your driveway anyway, so don't worry about it. I'm going to pay for it because he's got 2 brothers. He said, in case they want to borrow the blower, it's going to be awkward since we paid for half of it. He goes, so I'm just going to buy the whole thing. I'm going to plow your stuff anyway, and don't worry about it.
What are they going to do? They're going to plow or blow?
I know. What?
So
don't worry, I'll come by and plow you.
So as it turns out, Jack ends up dying right before we go. Can you...
I live in a condo, so I have a whole bunch of Hispanic men. We have a whole bunch of Hispanic men blow us every winter.
Oh my God!
So we have the old guy from across the street come and blow us, and you've got your local.
He's so disrespectful to Jack. He died.
This is terrible.
So anyway, now we totally loved Jack.
He was the best neighbor ever.
He was such a nice guy. So now he died, and now we've got no blower. So now we're hearing about this snowstorm, and of course we're at last fucking minute. Where are we going to get a blower? What are we going to do? So everything is sold out of Home Depot, Lowe's. The local places are like raping you with how much they're charging for these blowers. So we've got no blower, and now Skip has to start shoveling.
All right, so here's the deal. We have a neighbor that plows, and he does snow removal and all that stuff, and he's got a plow. So I say, hey, listen, man, he's also the guy that does our landscape.
He does the street plowing with his truck.
Right. He's like the gun for hire in the neighborhood, along with a bunch of other guys, and they work for the county and all that stuff.
So he's going to do our driveway for us.
So, but we're getting off track here. Right? The segment is called
What the Fuck?
Right?
What the fuck?
What the fuck?
Here's what I have to say about the snow and plowing.
Okay, this is where it comes in because he plowed.
What the fuck?
He plowed our driveway.
I don't know about anybody else that lives in a house with a private driveway where they come up and down your street and plow the streets. But these guys, they plow the streets and they plow your whole fucking driveway in. They plow right across your driveway, right? Obviously, they have to put the snow somewhere.
Yeah.
But it seems like sometimes they purposely plow it in front of your house.
And now it blocks the whole entrance to the driveway.
Right. So the plows turn, they can angle them. Listen, why not make a big mountain in the middle of the block, right, somewhere, or even on my front lawn? Put it on my front lawn. Yeah. Make a fucking 20-foot high pile of snow. Take it from the whole block. Put it on my front lawn. Yeah. I don't care. Don't put it in front of my driveway.
Because now we have to shovel again. And it's like, it's
all right, so this time,
so much labor.
I said, listen, I'm not shoveling the driveway because our driveway is super long and we don't have the snow blower because we couldn't get one in time. So we have our landscaper come and he plows the snow out. Beautiful. I wake up in the morning, beautiful. The snow, it's plowed, man. I mean, it's like right down to the driveway. Meanwhile, there's like 3 feet of snow on either side of the driveway. I'm like, this is great, right? I don't have to shovel it.
Right.
I walk to the end of the driveway. And here is now a snow mountain that they have somehow accumulated all of the snow from our entire block. And I don't know why they've chosen our driveway.
I know why, because they were a contractor on season 2. That's why.
Maybe. It could be. No, it wasn't just our driveway. It was every driveway. But it almost seems like it's the parking place for the snow. You know when you're in like a parking lot and you can see the big snow machines, they make huge mountains of snow off in the corner of the parking lot, right? Mm-hmm. They don't put it where you park your car. They put it off in the corner. So these guys plow the street, and instead of making these piles of snow like in the middle of the street, like on people's lawns or where there's no entrance to your driveway, it seems almost like they dump it right in front of your driveway.
Yeah.
So I walked out to the
end
of my beautifully plowed driveway, and I said, "What the fuck?"
And which also now leads me to a separate
What the fuck?
on the same fucking topic. We're driving down.
There's a lot of fucks.
There's so many fucks. On a similar note, this happens. We were driving to the mall, 25, and the roads are perfectly clear. They have been plowed. They've been salted. You can see the black on the ground. People take the businesses. They want to shovel the entrance as well because they're dealing with the same issue about it being put in front of their exits and entrances. On the sidewalk area, right? So you got the business owners out there with the shovel now.
And the snowblowers.
But these sons of bitches are shoveling it out into the roadway that's been cleared instead of throwing the snow onto the piles that are already lining the fucking streets. Why are you not throwing the snow onto the piles and you're throwing it into the road, making it slippery and icy so that all the traffic has to drive over and swerve around to avoid these huge, massive lumps of snow that they're purposefully putting in the street?
It's actually a further distance to put the snow in the street than it is to put it on the... Actually, the work harder.
Right there.
So here you are driving down a main road, you're cruising along at 50, 55, because the roads are clear, and then all of a sudden you hit a patch of snow that's
airborne.
deep sideways.
You're causing accidents on purpose. It's like, it blows my mind. I want to stop at every fucking idiot that is doing that and say, hey.
And you want to say, hey, what the fuck?
What the fuck? What the fuck, you stupid fuck?
Makes me nuts.
Fuck you fucking fuck.
My favorite fucking t-shirt, man.
Fuck these fucking fuckers.
That's Allison's favorite thing to say.
My favorite expression.
What is it?
Fuck you fucking fuck.
There you go.
Oh, God.
Wow.
All right.
Can you believe that comes out of that, right? Like, well, look at her, like, right?
What the fuck?
I know. So,
so pretty. What a mouth on you, though.
Sometimes you just got to say, what the heck?
Yeah.
No,
what the hey?
I never say that.
Never say what the hey? Yeah, what the hey?
No. Oh, there's so many what the fucks I want to talk about.
Oh, we could do a whole show about it.
I could do a whole show about what the fuck.
We should just do another podcast called What the Fuck?
Yeah. But I'm gonna save it for the next time because I got some really major rant what the fucks. So we're gonna move on to I wanted to talk about some things I found online.
Oh,
stuff that's like in the news and stuff I found online.
In the news.
Yeah, just like I don't know, like hot topic kind of stuff that I found. I'm a huge TMZ follower. I love all that stuff, and I just wanted to.
Isn't it kind of ironic too? Like you're such a person who's into all the celebrity stuff and TMZ and all that type of thing. And, and it's gonna be interesting the first time like you're actually on TMZ.
I hope it's not in a negative light, but I can't say that I wouldn't be looking forward to that. I love that show.
Yeah.
They're really funny. It's good stuff. But one thing I found really interesting, I don't know, I kind of like this story. It's the one with Bruce Jenner they're talking about right now. He's coming out with a docuseries about his progression that he's going through right now in his life. And they're saying that he is going to be living his life as a woman,
which has been all this speculation.
Yeah.
If you watch the Kardashian show and you buy into that whole franchise, which is what it is.
I mean, that's
is what it is. But obviously a hugely successful reality show. And during the course of that story, Bruce has kind of seemed to have been going like he's growing his hair out.
But not on the show, though, so much. It hasn't been focusing on what his appearance is on the show. That's really actually been on in the media and TMZ and all of the magazines where they're taking note of the fact that he's got since he divorced from Chris, that his hair has grown long and he's styling it like a woman's type of a hairstyle, like really like a hairdo.
Did he have close up one day, like nail polish on his nails?
He had nail polish on his nails. Yeah, I mean, and that wasn't like a Photoshop. It was like he had his nails polished and he had his hair done, and and he facially with the plastic surgery, you kind of the Adam's apple thing. He had that shaved down.
I was saying that to you when we saw him one time, and I'm like, wait a second. You can tell when people have plastic surgery, but I mean, something looks like it's a little bit beyond. Yeah. Beyond that, right?
Yeah. And so, I mean, of course, the first thing that comes to your mind is like, why is he trying to look like a woman? And I think that the mystery of it and not knowing, like, for sure, I think that raises a lot more attention to it. But now I think that if he's going to be coming out of sorts, I don't know if he's gay or if he's not gay. I don't know what that is.
Let's face it, all those type of stories sell. The cover of the Inquirer.
Yeah.
Most of it's like BS anyway. They just make up like ridiculous stories. So you always have to wonder if it's just like media hype or is that really what's happening.
Yeah, but the thing is that from looking at him, it's what was happening, and you kind of like know it on the inside, but without it being confirmed, you just wonder like, well, maybe he's just like a little freaky, like maybe he just likes having a girl's hairdo, or like maybe he's getting into punk rock and he's polishing his nails.
Listen, I like tits, but I'm not going to get a pair for myself.
That's why I wanted to talk about this. That's disrespectful to transgender people.
I'm just saying, hey, you do what you like. I don't no disrespect at all. I think everybody should do what they like to do.
That's what I'm saying.
God bless you if that's what you want to do with with your body. I'm all for it. I think everybody should be happy.
That's why I love this story because hearing that he's going to be coming out.
For me, as much as I like boobies, I'm not going to have any myself.
No, but why would you? You've got mine on me.
True.
Yours
cost enough. I don't need a pair.
What I wanted to say was...
Spent enough money. I'm still paying those things off.
Shut up. They're real.
Oh.
No, they're not.
That's okay.
You keep telling yourself.
Carols were grandfathered in for me, so that was all good.
You keep telling yourself they're real, honey. It's okay.
We'll get into that another day. But my thing is that I always found that story very intriguing because, I think even being part of a community that is considered to be like a minority or on the outside or, and then... You get a look from the inside, you get a look from the outside. I think it's very cool that he's doing this and coming out in public because I think it'll actually quell all of the stories and the bullshit and the speculation. I think by him being true to who he is and coming out and being himself. Right. To the world, I think that's really fucking brave.
I don't think you'll find them on the cover of any Wheaties boxes anymore.
No,
I don't think
I think the Wheaties days are probably over. You know what? I just found some irony in the whole situation because if you're right, it takes a lot of guts. And it takes a big pair of balls to do what Bruce Jenner's doing. And
you're a fucking comedian.
I would imagine that very soon, as big as his balls may be, you're going to be gone, Joe.
No, but you know what? That's actually you can't even. Assume that because there's
what's wrong with me?
There's transsexual, there's transgender, there's a different. He might not want to physically be a woman. Maybe he just wants to live as a woman. Right. You know what I mean? And just change his clothes.
I'm just poking fun at it, but the reality is, everybody has their opinion on it, and I respect him for his courage to live his life the way he wants to live.
Yeah,
so
I'm happy.
It's nobody's business to tell you how you should live your life, and however it is that makes you happy, don't put it on me. I don't like people that go out and preach and say this is what everybody should be doing. Yeah. But I respect the people that do what they want to do.
Yeah, so, absolutely. So I'm that story actually makes me happy to hear it because I don't think it's a sensationalized type of a thing like Keeping Up with the Kardashians, where I do believe that they have to inject certain stories in to keep the show interesting. You know what I mean? They're not following them around with a camera 24/7.
And collagen into their ass.
I was going to say they got to inject a lot more than
that was. I didn't mean to use that word, but yeah. But I think that this is actually something that's real, and he's being true to himself, and I think that's very cool. So I found that story actually inspirational, which is why I wanted to talk about it.
Very cool.
Another story that I wanted to talk about.
So if we were doing props or flops, it would be props for Bruce Jenner.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah, absolutely.
Props to Bruce Jenner.
Yeah. Another thing I wanted to talk about was this story that I found online, and it's probably something a lot of people already know. It's a topic of underwear. How Tighty Whities killed the sperm count. There is a.
That would mean I have no sperm.
As a matter of fact, he don't wear whiteys, but he wears tighties. So this study.
My baby making days are over anyway, so I don't really,
Yeah, thank God.
Yeah.
The study found that if you after 4 months your sperm quality is way down. And your sperm count is nearly zero after you're wearing, between ages of 25 to 35, if you wore tight undies that facilitated a natural heating of your testicles. Oh. A dozen men who flip-flop between boxers and boxer briefs for a year saw that their sperm count dropped by half during the tighter periods, that was air quotes. Bicyclists who put a foot to the pedal 12 to 16 hours a week saw their sperm count fall. Heat from electric blankets, saunas, hot baths, sleeping positions, and weather could also affect the sperm count. So what I wanted to get into, why I felt close to this story, was because I wanted to talk about men's underwear.
Okay. I can see you leaning in that direction, so yeah.
I don't care about your sperm count, but I'm thinking about the underwear. First of all, Tighty Whities, deal breaker.
Not good?
Not good.
I thought this conversation was going in the way of Money Shot.
No.
Right?
And sperm count, let's clear it up.
No.
Sperm count is not sperm count is the actual number of sperm that you have in a given amount of semen.
Yes.
It's not about how much. There's a lot of people.
It's how fertile you are or are not as a man.
A lot of people are confused with confuse volume with count.
Right.
It's very different.
Gotcha.
Right.
Very
So
different.
your ability to create babies is very lessened by the tighter underwear and the more heat in your groin area.
Even a Ron Jeremy can have a low sperm count.
Yes.
Is what we're saying.
Yes. Yes.
Gotcha.
But
you go.
where I wanted to go with this underwear thing was,
The horse load.
like, how many people
Got it. Okay.
Tighty Whities, white out, deal breaker. So,
All right. So let's clarify. A tighty whitey, is that? Are we talking
The ones
like
like
a fruit of the loom type of thing?
Breaking Bad, all right?
Like a fruit, yeah. Okay. I don't understand. What
Mr.
you're saying.
White on Breaking Bad, when he gets out of the when he was wearing the white underwear, with the hole in the front, those underwear.
Well, those are usually the ones, and I must say, I do not know this through any personal experience, but they're usually the ones that carry the most amounts of stain. And for a woman to deal with, I don't know if that's where you were going to go.
No.
But for a woman to have to see like an old pair of Tighty Whities.
Right.
I mean, honestly, when I was a little kid, I wore Tighty Whities.
Right.
As a little kid, any little kids are disgusting. Right. They don't necessarily have the best hygiene.
Right.
So you always have like, the bacon strips in the back. And you have a little bit of the lemonade in the front.
So gross. Oh, God.
For those of you just tuning in, this might also be a what the fuck moment.
Oh, God, it's so
We can back
gross.
up the segments.
What the fuck?
That's what I like about this podcast. It's cohesive. Every segment flows.
Well,
into
I want
the
to be
next.
able to help people.
Speaking
and
of flow.
I want men to think of this as helpful information, because this is how the women are thinking. First of all, Tighty Whities out, boxer briefs in. Sexy. Boxer briefs are sexy, okay?
Boxer briefs.
They are. And I bought them for you, and you said you don't prefer to wear them under your pants because of the shorts part of it. It gets too thick by your pants.
They're a little long for me on my thighs. They kind of remind me of like bicycle, shorts. They're a little.
So they're not comfortable for you.
Yeah.
I think but like when you walk around the house in them, I think that's extremely sexy.
Well, it's just like the guys like to have their women walk around in sexy lingerie. I do sport the boxer briefs for you, from time to time, and that's, by the way, all for you, because I already told you I'm not a big fan.
I know.
But
of course it's for me. I know, and I appreciate it.
Conveniently walking around with the boxer briefs, no shirt on. Oh, I was just going to the refrigerator to get a drink.
Yeah,
of
I'm like,
water.
why are you always wearing a t-shirt? Take the t-shirt off already. Like, he walks around like in his underwear and a t-shirt. I'm like, it's supposed to be reverse.
You
boxer
picture like
briefs
the
and
muscle
no
guy
shirt.
that's like pointing to something and just happens to flex, scratching his head. Oh, it's like one of those.
I walk around with a t-shirt and no underwear.
So this is where I'm
gonna.
This is where I wanted to tell you.
Calvin Klein commercial.
There you go.
Okay, so now you wear the kind of underwear that doesn't have the hole in the front. They're like they're called briefs, I guess, right? Yeah. So you wear all various colors.
It's like the banana hammock,
right? And but they're not that hammocky. There's all different kinds. Well, I bought you your underwear throughout the years that we've been together.
Let's be clear, they're full back though. There's no
full
thong
back,
action
yeah.
or any of that.
Okay, so now listen. I went through your underwear drawer this past week when you weren't home.
Oh God.
And I threw out 17 pairs of underwear. I don't know if you noticed that
I
was
probably
missing.
have hundreds of pairs.
You
of
do,
underwear.
because I buy you packages. And some of the underwear you've actually had
Sounds
since,
like my mom.
since before you knew me.
Did you like the underwear I bought for you, honey?
I got you a package of underwear.
Now listen, I threw out. I
They're
wrote
Fruit
down.
of the Loom. They come with the matching socks.
I wrote down what I got rid of. I got rid of what I called Grandpa's underwear, which looked like they were way too fucking big for you. They were like high in the back. They were like big, wide on the sides.
You know why that is, right? Everybody has like a line of,
Those are your period
your
underwear.
bigger clothes. They were my bloomers.
Those were your on the rag underwear.
my granny drawers.
I got rid of your granny drawers.
Like you have like some big jeans, like when you get a little heavier, you put your winter weight on.
Yeah.
My underwear are a little snug, so I have the larger ones. A little
No,
more
you don't, because they're gone.
A little more nut room. Wait a minute, you got rid of all of them?
I threw them all away. Yeah.
Well, how is that?
They're gone. Get over it. I got rid of your holy underwear. The ones that
I
have...
just want to lay around comfortable,
Well, then we're going to buy you new, fresh underwear that fits properly. I got rid of the ones with holes in them. If there was a hole in the seam, in the bottom, in the back, in the front, if there were any holes or tears, they are now gone. They're now gone. The underwear that you had from when we first met, they had to go. Way too old, way too stretched out, not in good shape anymore.
The elastic
In other words, comfortable.
Yeah.
Exactly. Thank you. Thank you.
If they were wide on the side, no good. If they were high in the back, no good. If they had holes by the balls, no good. If they fit you when you were...
One nut's hanging out.
If they fit you when you were still in high school, no good.
Oh, I didn't have any of those.
If they had bleach stains on them, no good. If they
Bleach comes in handy when it comes to underwear.
If they were ripped, no good. If they had any stains, no good. So in other words, a lot of things were no good and they were gone. There are things left in your drawer.
In other words, she got you this new product called spray-on underwear. It's spray-on undies.
Wow.
Yeah. So I wanted to let you know that we are going to go shopping and buy you new underwear.
This is really funny because we don't rehearse the segments that we're going to talk about today. So we know we're going to do in the news. We're going to do what the fuck. We're going to do what's going on with us and all different things we talk about. But evidently, Joe, today we're talking about my underwear drawer. So thanks for that, Allie.
Yeah. So,
you're the best, honey.
So we're going to go shopping together and get you some new underwear.
Okay.
I'm excited to do that.
Thanks, Mom.
Because you know what? Also, you and I, since we've been together, our weight has fluctuated. And right now you're at for the last couple of years, you've been in shape and you've been really working hard and your body looks amazing. And so therefore you should have underwear that reflects that amazing body.
Ah.
Okay? I don't want to look at you and think about my dad.
Oh, listen. Everything about that whole line just sounded wrong.
Well, I don't want you to be wearing dad's underwear. You should be wearing sexy Skip underwear.
Okay.
All right. And with that being
Can
said,
we move on to the next segment?
we're gonna move on to the next segment. Now you're gonna give us some tips. You're gonna give us some tips about either a tool or a
yes. I have a tool that I love that I just got.
We're gonna call it Skip's Tips.
Skip's Tips.
Skip's Tips.
This is another one of our segments that we'll be doing on a regular basis, where I will talk about tools that I use, in my everyday contracting business or just doing work around the house, or some tips that I might be able to offer you guys on remodeling and do it yourself and fix it up and stuff like that. Anyway, I just got this roof rake, right? Who even knew you could rake your roof? But if you live in an area like we do, where there's a lot of snow, this is a product that's made by True Temper. You can go online and find it. Under True Temper roof rake or snow rake. It is a telescoping pole that extends out, I believe, 16 or 17 feet.
17 feet.
It's got a plastic blade on it, a very durable, high-quality, rigid blade.
Yeah, it's called a rake, but yet it's an actual, blade.
It doesn't have like teeth on it, like you would like a leaf rake. It's just got like a big blade, almost like if you would have like a hoe that you would use in your garden.
Yeah.
Right. Hoe
I'm the hoe in your garden.
What up, hoe? Well, not that kind of hoe. Get your mind out of the gutter.
It's Allison's turn.
Yeah, right. And we're going to switch back over to Allison. So, all right. So this thing has got this probably about 2-foot blade on it that you can extend all the way up onto your roof and pull the snow down off of your roof. Now, for people that live in areas that get a lot of heavy snow, what can happen is, and I'm sure you guys have wondered, when is the roof going to actually collapse? Because if you get a heavy snowfall, when it first falls, it might be powdery or whatever, and if it doesn't blow off the roof or remove it in some way, eventually it's going to freeze and it's going to turn rock solid. Right. And then inevitably what's going to happen, it's going to start to warm up. We're going to get a couple of rainy days, and that 2 feet or 3 feet of snow that you have on your roof now is going to become like a sponge and absorb all of the water when it rains.
It's so heavy.
And it gets so heavy that it will really amount to thousands and thousands of pounds. It's like parking a truck on the top of your roof.
It resembles what sunk the Titanic.
Yes. Yeah, like an iceberg.
Yeah.
That's
so heavy.
That's a good example.
And it's very unpredictable because there's really, unless you have one of these tools to remove it, there's nothing you can do about it.
Right. So last year and the year before, I was kind of like making up, improvising and making up my own thing, and I got the job done. I got the snow off of the roof. But True Temper makes this product. Check it out. Go online. If you get snow, you need a roof rake. This thing is fantastic. I was able to remove all the snow without actually getting up on the roof, which is about the most hazardous thing you can do to get on your roof when there's snow on it, right? It's bad enough to get on the roof even when there is no snow and ice.
It's cold out and it's slippery. You don't want to deal with that.
It made a hard job a lot easier.
Yeah,
so,
it made the house a lot safer.
Yeah, 100%. Because once that snow keeps accumulating, that's big trouble, folks. And I can tell you from being a contractor, I've done a lot of jobs over the years with collapsed roofs. Not to mention, even if the roof doesn't collapse, what happens is from the weight of all that snow, it actually forces the water like a syringe, Joe. If you were to, that pressure from all that weight. So if there's any failures in that roof at all, it's going to just compress it right into underneath the shingles. It'll actually make the water go uphill and get underneath the shingles.
Right.
It'll force it into all the areas where the side walls of your house meet the roof, where they would be flashing. If the flashing is not all the way up the wall of that house, what we call an apron flashing, just a regular standard step flashing, it'll push the water way up behind the shingles, and you'll wind up with tremendous water damage. So it's good to get the snow off the roof. True Temper Snow Rake, check it out.
Thank you, Skip.
Skip's Tips.
Thank you,
Brought
Skip's
to you
Tips.
by New Temper.
There you go.
Brought to you by Skip Vidal. Okay, so now we're going to get into the we haven't begun taking phone calls yet, but we are going to at some point. And we are also asking people to give us some questions on social media, either be Facebook or Twitter. Skip is on Twitter, Skip_Bedell, and I'm on Twitter at Allison Bedell. And we're both on Facebook. You can find us just by looking up our names. We're also on Instagram.
Yeah, so feel free to log on and give us your questions on a regular basis, and we'll keep them, in a library of questions.
Yeah.
And we'll be sure to answer them.
Yeah. So I'm just going to go through these questions that I found on Twitter.
Try to keep it clean, people.
Or not.
The answer is 10 inches, in case you were wondering. All right.
What's going to be awesome about you guys? What's going to be awesome about this is you guys are going to get that little bird next to your name. Little check mark.
Yeah.
I don't know.
You're going to you will. Trust me.
Yeah.
Your personalities.
Man?
I think at this point, I may have more followers than you
do.
Skip.
You do.
I think I do. Yeah. But I will never see one of those check marks.
Verified. They call it getting verified.
Yeah, verified.
Yeah.
I'm not worried
it's
about
it. It's like being official, man.
Yeah, but nobody's trying to copy
be
us.
official, Joe? I want to know.
It's really good for like
coming into our third season of a hit TV show. I still don't have a check mark.
You will get a check mark.
You know what? There's a good segment for What the Fuck. Hey, Twitter, what the fuck?
What the fuck?
Where's my check mark, man?
All right, here we go. Allison Bedell, do you ever worry about your safety when doing undercover work? The answer is no. I don't worry. I'm always worried about my safety just because you have to be diligent and never get complacent and just think that everything's going to be great. But as far as worrying about my safety, I don't worry about it because I am... I'm confident because I feel that I am skilled enough, especially with my training in law enforcement, with weapons and with my hands and with my my sense of what's going on around me.
Being wary.
Yes.
Is wary more than worry.
Yeah.
You're very good at what you do, and you have a really cat-like sense of, I've noticed that about you. You have a good street sense, you're smart, and also, the years of the law enforcement training that comes into play. But, for me, as an outsider of that, I do worry about you because just to hear you say that, anybody can get complacent. It doesn't matter who you are. It doesn't matter how much training you have. You could be special forces, ex-military, and still get caught off guard.
Chris Kyle.
Anybody can
Chris
get
Kyle.
Yeah, it happens,
Yeah.
right?
And when
Anybody
you say-
can get caught with a punch, man. It
When you
happens.
say worry about your safety, though, I also feel like you got to be a quick thinker, quick talker. You got to come up with an excuse as to if somebody's confronting you, like, why are you here? What are you doing here?
Right.
I think I could come up with some good, quick lies. I'm not really concerned about that. I always plan ahead, to have a reason why I'm there or what I'm doing or whatever.
As a private investigator,
Exactly.
doing these background things and chasing people around.
Yeah, because when you're watching somebody, you're surveilling. You don't want to be noticed either by the person who is your target or by people in the community that just happen to be wandering around. You have concerned neighbors; they're looking to see who is that person. What are they doing there?
You want to blend in.
Yeah, I have a. Are you taking a picture of me, love?
I am.
Oh, you're sweet.
I'm taking a picture of you answering questions. So let me say this as we're answering our first social media question. Should we mention who's asking the question? Moving
Yeah,
forward?
that question. I thought I did. I'm sorry. No. That question was asked by Heather Blair at hblair524 on Twitter.
All right.
This next question is for you by Studebaker at Dylan Kev
I've already
on
given
Twitter.
the answer.
This is. You can read your own question. It's for you.
All right. Expand on a story of Skip's family and building boats, work ethic, and how it keeps you grounded as the TV show takes off. Okay, so my family. I was fortunate to grow up in a family of craftsmen. My grandfather, great grandfather, and my father all were guys that worked with their hands as carpenters, built houses, had a construction business. Also, another family business that we had was a marina. So Bedell's Boatyard was actually located in Oceanside, Long Island. It had been there for generations since the 1800s. Were one of the oldest properties actually settled in that area of Long Island. Before there was even any roads, people were riding horses on dirt roads back then. And so I grew up in this marina environment. My house was on the top of the property. If I look out in the back, surrounded by water, and I got to be out there in all these workshops that we had on the property where they built
acres, right?
Acres of boats and like these great buildings, these outbuildings like barns, which at one time were horse barns where they kept the horses and hay and all of that.
Cool.
And over time, they got converted into one was a mechanic shop for the boats, motors, and outboard
Could you rub
motors.
that foot, baby, while you sit there?
Wow.
Thank you. I'm sorry.
Check this out. And another one was an awesome wood shop where they built boats and they built furniture and they built some really great stuff. So at a very young age, I was able to go into these shops and get the experience of working with wood and machinery and tools and things that, a lot of people will never even get to see. I had all these tools and things, to my disposal.
So you could totally have been in that field, as a career.
Well, yeah, my father had taken over the marina. He was an engineer and builder by trade, and had built many homes in our area, a couple of schools, 2 hospitals.
No, I'm talking about the boating.
I'm going to tell you, I'm going into that. But he had segued from that and come out of that to actually take over the marina from my grandfather as he got older,
so that was his
later
gig.
in life. Continued to run the marina business, all through my childhood.
No.
And I was kind of slated to do the same thing. Things change. There was a lot of reasons, things that happened. My mom died at a very early age, and my dad took a different direction. So later on in my life, my father wound up remarrying when I was older, at a point to when I probably would have considered taking over the marina, coming out of high school, going into college, being groomed through that business all the way through, as well as building. I knew a lot about the marina business.
So I think, related to that question that person asked, is that it sounds like because you lived on what essentially was not only your home, but it was a functioning business.
It was.
You grew up in a work environment.
Yeah.
And so basically I think that related to the question is that you had a really good work ethic because you were basically raised on the property of a business.
Yeah.
And so you learned early what work was and what a job was and how to do a job.
That was my backyard, so to speak.
Right.
So it's hard work. It's heavy work. We had heavy equipment there, travel lifts and boom trucks and forklifts and all machinery that I was driving by the time I was 10, 11 years old.
Right.
So
Kids don't like normal. That's not a normal kid's life. Usually, kids are like playing in the street with their friends and riding bikes, but they're not seeing a workplace. Like kids don't see workplaces unless daddy takes them to work like one day during the week, or mommy, takes them along for the day because school's closed.
Yeah.
You actually lived in a place of business.
Yeah, it was a great experience to be able to do that and see
I never thought
see
that was
how
a
my
good question.
grandfather worked and see how my dad worked. And these are guys that these are like a hands of steel type of guys. These guys, the guys that worked with their hands. They were hardworking men. And it definitely shaped a work ethic that I think very few young people coming up today have the benefit and the good fortune to be around, because they have to develop that themselves in most cases. And I was kind of like injected into it in a way that it was almost fun. I enjoyed it. That, to me, that was my playground.
Yeah.
But instead of riding skateboards, or whatever, I was driving heavy equipment. I was building barns,
cool.
and we were repairing roofs on the barns, and we were doing stuff that kids never get to do. Rebuilding the docks and the bulkheads, and all kinds of great stuff.
Your dad included you in everything.
He did, yeah. He included me in everything, and I was fortunate to have that. So that's what the work ethic was about, and being able to see all that stuff firsthand was the coolest thing ever.
That was a good question, because I never really thought about it that way until that person asked that question. You started talking about it. I didn't, because you do have a great work ethic, and that's not necessarily a common thing. Some people are skilled and they do their job well, but you have this thing about you that you care about what you do, and you're always the guy who comes back and takes all those little, even annoying customers. You always want to leave everybody happy.
I think I care too much.
You do care too much, and people take advantage of you because of it.
He says to me all the time, Joe, she goes, today's the last day on that job, right? And it always is the last day. But the last day is like 3 days, because it's like there's always one little thing that I just want a little bit better.
Or if somebody is, like if they sometimes people want more than what they've even asked for or what they've paid for.
Right.
And he'll keep, he goes back and it just pisses me off.
I understand that. I do understand that type of work ethic. I'm the same way. I just have to tell you, I'm
it's got to be right.
When it comes to perfection, you want everything to be as perfect as possible. Yeah. And if you are hired by someone that you feel as though maybe even if you feel as though you may never see them again,
right,
you want to leave a lasting impression.
Yeah.
So case in point, if I'm playing a gig, right, and private party, whatever, and somebody says, "Hey, can you play another 3-4 songs a little extra?" So I say, "Yeah, sure, of course." Yeah.
Yeah. Me when we used to do the karaoke, how would I get what those people want? One more song at the end. He's okay, I'll play it, and I'm the bitch. Like, you better not fucking play that song. I want to get out of here. I want to go home already. Right. Oh God, yeah. He's a nice guy.
There are times that you get so frustrated.
Oh yeah, because
especially when it's late at night. Right? And then by that point, it reaches the time of the evening where really nothing good can happen beyond that point.
Right.
Everybody's just
that
smashed.
Was the climax.
You've passed the high point.
Right.
You always want to try to go out on a high note.
Of course.
So it's like, all right, from this point on, we're just kind of
With the Journey song, "Don't Stop Believing," right? I do a Journey tribute as well. Right, so "Don't Stop Believing." That's the last song. Period. There's no bigger song than that. Tony Soprano died with that song.
Yeah.
That's the end.
Yeah.
It's no more.
I'm the enforcer when it comes to that.
One more song. What am I going to do? No.
What's the encore to that?
I'm rolling over, having a cigarette. Good night, honey. I'm done.
Bye.
That's it.
All right. Well, that was a good question. Thank you for asking that question. Okay, and the last thing
you said who it was from.
I read the name at the top of the top of the question. Okay, so then the last thing we're going to talk about, you had your tips, and I've got my latest obsession.
Oh God.
I get into and people might just find something silly that I talk about. I get obsessed with something. It's my focus. I make it like the center of my brain until I either own all of what's in every color if I'm obsessed with something, or I'll research something and find out the best one at the best price.
Right.
Like when I decide I want something or need something, I research the shit out of it. Well, this particular thing I wanted to talk about, it might even just seem silly, but I think it's something that everybody might enjoy. It's something I discovered while we were in California. The first thing is that they have these potatoes available in California all year round that they don't have on the East Coast. They are a white sweet potato. The white sweet potato is my latest obsession because it blows away the orange sweet potato. It is a completely different potato. Have you ever heard of that, Joe?
Have not heard of it, no.
They're in the grocery store right alongside the orange ones in California. They're there all year round. Here, I've recently learned...
Here, like a sweet potato is a sweet potato, like
it's
I call
orange.
it a yam or...
Yeah, exactly. But here, they only get them, and not every grocery store, they only get them a couple of times a year because I think they grow them here, but only in certain seasons. They're not, like they were in season just recently. But this sweet potato, the white one, is a totally different animal. It is more delicious. I know, he's looking at me.
Excited about it.
I'm so excited about this potato.
Never met a potato I didn't like.
Well, this particular sweet potato, it
Yeah,
tastes way better than the orange sweet potato. Okay, first, the flavor alone, it is a completely different potato. It's sweeter, it's more delicious. But the texture, it's actually creamy. It's like a rich, creamy, sweet, delicious sweet potato. It's like the best thing I've ever eaten.
For those of you that are carb conscious, obviously potatoes are not always, but if you're going to eat potatoes, sweet potatoes.
That's the way to go. They're healthier.
Would be, out of all of the potatoes,
Yeah.
those are probably your best bet.
Now, this is the thing I wanted to talk about along with letting everybody know, because they might not know about this potato. And I personally, I have had people from the production company, I have Chase Quick paid them money to go to the grocery store, and they in those flat rate post office boxes where you can put as much weight in it as you want if it can fit in the box.
Yeah.
I have people shipping me these sweet potatoes.
This is listen, production
Yes.
people. We're really fortunate to have a great group of people that do just about anything to make our lives more comfortable while we're away from our home.
Mm-hmm.
So these are the kinds of things that she has our production people
I give them
running
money.
out and buying potatoes.
I love it.
Yeah, I mean, I pay them to do it. So anyway, Joe, this is also, I'm going to give this to your girl. I have got the best way to make a baked potato. I found it online. You have to admit, right? It makes it a completely different sweet potato than you've ever eaten.
It's really good.
When you bake it this way, it actually enhances the flavor and the texture is better. It brings out the sweetness in it so much more. So I'm just going to give you a quick overview on how to bake the sweet potato.
You can hear the level of excitement in
I
his
am
voice,
so
right?
excited about this.
I can tell.
But I know some people might say, the fucking sweet potato segment. This is, everybody eats sweet potatoes.
Well, it's your latest obsession segment.
It is.
So let's be clear on that, which could range anywhere from clothing to jewelry to shoes
But
to food.
This
Today
is
just happens to be
information.
produce.
Just like when we were on Adam's show and we talked about the oatmeal. How much feedback did we get about that oatmeal?
Dude, here's what happens when she has an obsessive thing. I wind up with 30 boxes of whatever it is
Yes.
on the front porch when I come home from work because UPS has unloaded the entire truck, everything that she
Yeah.
was able to find
Yeah.
online. It's now on our
It's
front
true.
porch. Which, by the way, we live in it's not a huge house.
It's a small
We
house.
really don't have anywhere to put all of the shit that she
Okay.
buys.
Let me get into how to bake this potato before my phone battery runs out. Do not, you wash the potato, of course. Don't wrap it in foil. Don't put any foil on it. Just foil the bottom of your oven so that any drippings won't get on your oven, so you have to clean it. You're going to poke the potato 3 times with a fork. That's it. You're going to put the potato... Oh, this is an important thing, too. You're going to put your oven on first when you put the potato in the oven. So you're going to put the potato on the rack.
Ah.
You're going to shut the door and put
Then
on the...
turn the oven.
and
No
then-
preheating.
Yeah, no preheating.
Oh.
You prick the
Potatoes.
potato...
Important stuff.
Yeah, you prick
Okay.
the potato, you put it on the oven rack, like in the middle, and you turn your oven on to 425. You're depending on the size, if you've got really big potatoes, you're going to cook them for
Okay.
If you're going to cook them for about 45 minutes to an hour. If you've got small ones, 45 minutes is enough. So again, big potatoes about up to an hour. Now, this is another important thing.
What if your potato's like average size?
45 minutes.
Okay.
Okay.
Just check it.
Okay. For sweet potatoes that are up to 4 inches in diameter, bake for an hour.
Oh, nobody said anything about diameter. We're just talking about... All right.
Anyway, now this is another important
Just
step.
factor it into the size.
After you turn off the oven, you're going to leave the oven door shut and leave the potatoes in there for another hour. You're not going to open that door for at least an hour. Okay, and so then after you open that door after an hour, the skin on the potato is going to be really crispy, but the natural syrup inside the potato is going to be like pooled inside of this potato, and the texture is so rich. It's
I gotta say, when I ate it for the first time, like you crack open the skin, and it almost seems like the potato inside is like you put syrup in there.
Syrup, and yeah, the skin
I'm like,
is
what
like
did you
candy.
put in this potato? Because I'm like really carb conscious.
Right,
I'm like,
right.
no.
He doesn't
And
like butter on the potato.
She puts like sugar and fat and oil on everything, right? And I'm like, she has to cook differently for me. So I'm like, what did you put on the potato? Because I don't want to eat it like that. Because that's the
Just
way
natural.
it comes. That's
Yeah,
it, man. Yeah.
it just really brings out the natural syrup inside the potato, and the skin is like candy. It's like it's crunchy and it's sweet. It's syrupy. It was like I think I ate about all of the skins when we did when I made that sweet potato casserole for Thanksgiving. I think I cooked how many? Like 8 potatoes. I ate all of the skins at once. So good, so good. So everybody's going to thank me and write to me, and it's just the most amazing
So
way to
white
cook a
sweet
potato.
potato.
White sweet
sweet
potatoes,
potatoes.
and no matter what kind of sweet potato you get, even if you can't get the white ones, bake them that way because it really is the most flavorful and satisfying way to eat them.
I know the obsessions kind of come like sporadically
Yeah.
and
I'm really excited
very
to share
quickly,
that.
But can you kind of give us an inside look at what the next one might be, or 'cause sometimes there are multiple
Yeah.
things going on.
There's always multiple things
overlapping
going on.
obsessions.
Yeah.
She was so excited about. I could see it in her eyes. The excitement
You
about
saw
this
her
sweet
come
potato.
alive, right?
Yeah.
I would suggest that at your 20-year anniversary,
Yeah.
rather than a trip or anything, just get her a box of these fucking potatoes.
They're
Yeah, that's
delicious.
it.
She
Yeah.
really does look like she was
Oh,
like.
that makes me happy. I
she
mean,
was-
they're really
She was
they're
really
delicious.
aroused at the thought of these potatoes.
I'm telling you,
I
man.
can see it on her face.
I know. But this is the way she gets. She
Awesome.
gets. This is why this segment is her latest obsession, because she picks one thing and gets very excited. And this is all you hear about all day. Like she'll call me from work, and she's just thinking about potatoes. I'm like, wow, you really
the
like
potatoes
that
are going to be
potato.
ready tonight.
Yeah, but you know what? One thing about me though is that my obsession always turns out to be I've got great tips on like everything. Like people always come to me
She
with,
does
"Do you
a
know
lot
how to
of
do
research.
this?"
Yeah,
I do a lot of research.
She's a research person by nature, like with what she does with law enforcement, being a private investigator. She digs into stuff deep. So far more information than you would ever care to even know about a potato.
Right.
One second. No. 1 second.
You will know now.
Yeah, I mean, like really, even just to know that's a
I know
that's a
it's
great
creamy,
potato.
It's syrupy.
Yeah.
crunchy.
And now
gotta
you know
be-
how to bake
You
it
have
the proper
to bake
way.
it exactly. I know exactly how to bake it.
Yeah.
And I'm going to have to get
Yeah.
into that.
And there's going to be many more awesome, amazing tips that everybody could relate to. So
So as you guys listen to our podcast, you'll get to know Allison and I a little better on little things that we do and quirks and personal stuff and whatever. And she definitely has an obsessive personality. So
Yeah.
this is her latest
that everybody
obsession.
can benefit from.
Yeah.
So anyway, so thank you everybody for listening. We really appreciate it. We're
Thanks,
gonna
guys.
hopefully give you something that y'all want to listen to every week. We're gonna be coming on twice a week, talking about the episodes, talking about ourselves and what's going on in the world, and stuff that might help all of you out.
Yeah, check us out on Twitter. Check us out on Facebook. Make sure you get your questions in there, and we will catch you next time.
Yeah, thanks. We love you guys.
This is Corolla Digital.